an appeal from a small claims court case that was heard previously in one of our jurisdictions. Normally, an appeal is heard by the Superior Court. Both of you have agreed that I may hear it. It's what we call a trial de novo, which means a completely new trial. I hear the facts for the first time differently than the other judge heard them. You understand?
Yes.
You understand it?
Yes, sir.
Right. You claim that this dog here bit you?
Yes, it's a mean and vicious chow. It bit me without any provocation, without any warning. It just came up right up to me in the hallway. I was a few feet from my door.
What hallway?
At my apartment. Sandy and I are neighbors. We're just like a few feet away from each other. And I was maybe 10 feet away from my door. And her dog came up to me nonchalantly in a non-threatening way. And I said, I looked down. I said, "Nice, Teddy." And the dog immediately chomped onto my right forearm, then onto my left hand, and then onto my right thigh, causing a lot of severe bleeding and agony
pictures?
And misery. Yes, I do, Your Honor.
see them.
Right here. I have medical reports as well.
I'll want to see those in just a moment.
Okay. The Polaroids are day 2, and the others are day 10. My brother, who's a respiratory therapist, came over the second day, and after the dog bit me, and he treated my wounds and changed the bandages for me and took the photos.
When did you see a doctor?
I saw the doctor the same night that the dog bit me, March 27th. In fact,
you have the doctor's report?
Yes, I do. I have the hospital report.
How long were you in the hospital?
I was in the Century City Emergency Hospital. Sandy drove me there.
Were you there when the dog allegedly bit her?
I was in the hallway, yes.
Well, did you see it?
Saw nothing, heard nothing. My dog was by my side.
What's your defense?
My dog was with me. My dog is
The dog was not on
wait.
My dog's very calm. I've had him 7.5 years with no problem. Lived in my apartment for 21 years, no problem.
You're saying you were with the dog at all times and it couldn't have bitten her?
I was opening my door, coming home from work. I opened the door, the dog was there, and all of a sudden I look and I see Linda, and...
You drove her to the hospital, did you?
Oh, yeah, about...
Well, did you look at her? Did you see whether or not she was bitten?
She had some injury, but it didn't look like a dog bite.
Oh, really? Why did you leave all these notes under my door then?
Let me see the notes.
She left one note after another.
Those
Trying to get out
photographs
of it.
are so fraudulent.
What do you mean?
They look like she's an actress.
No. What about these notes?
Oh, 12 hours after the incident, her brother is coming to my flower shop, and they're asking for $5,000.
That's not true at all. We went there for the certificate of the rabies vaccination.
That's why
all.
you
That's what
stayed
we
for
went
1
there
hour
for.
in my flower shop?
All right, that's enough. I can't hear two people at one time. Please don't do that.
The dog is mean and vicious. She keeps it locked up in the apartment all day long,
That's
and it's
not
frustrated.
True. It's not true.
Who's the dog when you're working?
He comes to my flower shop.
Dog is with you all day at the flower shop?
That's right. He comes to me, to my flower shop.
You keep him in that
No, he has
contraption?
a place at the shop.
That's not true. She keeps it locked in the apartment because I hear it barking all the time.
That is
she
not-
takes the little terrier to the flower shop, the one that got hit by
Okay,
a car
all right,
because it wasn't on
all
a
right,
leash.
ma'am, all right. What are your total bills, your doctor bills?
$5,000.
Well, no, this is a recapitulation. I want the original bills.
May I say something about the doctor's bills, original? She never showed them to the judge, and I had to have them
I showed all of
subpoenaed to
them.
see them.
All of them were shown.
Have you
Whatever
seen
I
these?
had.
Wait a minute. Have you seen these pictures?
Yes, and they're
this is
ridiculous.
from the neurologist.
What do you mean the pictures are ridiculous?
I am a graphic designer and photographer by trade, and anyone can see that those are totally enhanced pictures, that there's makeup, and they're not even realistic. I took her to the hospital. I saw her injuries. It's impossible that it flared up from a small little cut to her whole
Although
arm.
she did have a small cut.
Very small cut on her arm.
Oh,
And
it's totally.
Did you see the
Ridiculous.
teeth on that dog?
Yeah, I see them.
They have
Huge teeth, and that's why I don't think she got bitten by my dog, or else she would have marks on her arm. Look at her arms. Her arms have no marks.
This happened March 27th.
Her arms
Wait a minute.
are as clear as my
My hand
arms.
was blown up like a balloon. My brother was my witness.
This is your right arm?
It was the right forearm,
I
the left
understand.
hand,
I want to see it
and
now.
the right thigh.
Can you come up here?
All right. I have scar tissue,
I just want to
but
see
this
it.
is from March 27th.
Looks like a paper cut.
And it was like around
Where was the nerve damage?
The nerve damage was right here, and I can't lift anything heavy without severe pain and agony now.
Okay.
Right here.
The other judge, when he asked to look at her injuries, I was standing here and she was standing there and she was saying, "Look, Judge, look at my injuries." So I couldn't see them because there were no injuries. Her arms are totally clear.
That's totally ridiculous.
With those photographs, she should have stitches and
They don't
all
take-
sorts of abrasions on her arms.
They do not stitch up in an emergency hospital. I'm a nurse. They don't want any bacteria to be left inside.
I have
Therefore,
the
they don't
reports
stitch.
from the hospital, which she didn't show the first judge.
Well, let
I
me see.
showed
And the
everything.
X-rays.
Whatever I had, I showed to
No,
the
you
judge.
did not.
Or he would not have awarded in my favor.
I'm not interested in what the other judge did or didn't do. Told you this is a trial de novo, all new.
I also lost out on work.
What job did you lose
It
out
was
on?
a TV pilot, and I was going to technical advice, all of the hospital scenes on that show. I had to turn it down because
What do you have to show me that you lost that?
I have the letter. I had to turn it down flat.
I can't believe that.
My hand was swollen up like a balloon. I had to sit there and soak it day after day after day.
How long did you have pain from this, ma'am?
I still have pain. It hasn't left in the left hand because it was so deep.
Because of the nerve damage?
The nerve is definitely damaged, yes.
You were husband or?
This is
I'm
my
her brother.
Your brother.
I'm a respiratory therapist. I came the next day and I changed the dressing, put antibiotic on it, and I saw the wounds myself.
What he did the
the
next
teeth marks
day
were
was
all the
come
way
to my
full-
flower shop asking for money.
Please do not interrupt him or her.
Okay, I apologize.
Or me,
Your Honor.
for that matter.
Okay.
Go ahead,
I saw
sir.
teeth marks pull right up to the hilt on her arm. It was horrible, and her left hand was swollen like a balloon. And I advised her to soak it in ice, which she did for a couple of weeks. She was in a lot of pain. I understand there was a lot of bleeding when the dog first bit.
Not true.
Profusely.
Not
I did go
true.
to the flower shop with my sister because I was mainly concerned with seeing a rabies certificate. That was my prime concern, was seeing that rabies certificate.
Did you ever see one?
I did see one. It was near expiration, but it was valid.
Yeah, she produced one.
What is your name, sir?
Henry.
Henry?
Yes, sir.
All right, Henry. Tell me what you know about this.
Okay, I was at the flower shop working with Sandy.
You work for her?
Yes,
What do you do there?
I'm the driver. And, well, we were just working, and these two guys came in.
These two guys?
Person
It's
right
a
here.
woman and a man, not
Oh.
guys. Guy's a man. All right, go
These
ahead.
Two persons came in, and I was there with her. And at first, they wanted me to go outside. They didn't want me to hear. And she didn't want it, so she didn't want to stay alone. So she told me to stay and listen with what they had to
What
say.
did you hear?
Well, they asked for rabies papers.
Yes. What else?
And they wanted $5,000.
And anything else? What did she say?
She stayed quiet. She
Quiet. She didn't say a word.
No.
Doesn't seem to me to be the quiet type.
Those letters speak for themselves, the one she placed under my door, plus the box of matzah. She thought that was in lieu of the settlement.
Why did you send her a
Jerked
box
me around
of matzah?
jerked me around for 10
It
days.
was Passover time, and a week later I didn't hear from her. And I actually called her a couple times to see how she was feeling because she said she was ill. And I offered to give her some matzah as a holiday.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Very nice of her.
Gave her
Very nice,
flower
right? Everything
arrangement.
but compensation for all the work I lost and all the
Okay.
hospital bills.
All right.
At the police report.
What do you want to give me? Police report?
Yes, and she was arrested for this misdemeanor for not having the dog on a
That's
leash.
another lie that she made right on the police report.
I think I've heard enough. We'll take a short recess. I'll come back, give you my decision.
The verbal contract between me and her van was for $150.
They blocked our number from their home.
That's
going
right,
on.
too many financial problems.
Remain seated and come to order. This court is again in session.
No question but what the dog bit the plaintiff. No question at all in my mind. And looking at the dog with those vicious-looking teeth scares me half to death. I'm glad it's locked up. There is a dog bite statute in the state of California. Used to be that the first dog bite was free because then you had to show that the dog was of a vicious nature. It's not important anymore. The fact that the dog bit the plaintiff in premises where she lives, in the hallway, where she was legally allowed to be, is enough to create absolute liability. You can't escape it. You're trying to tell me that this dog didn't bite her. After looking at those pictures, it's all makeup, is so much, I can't use a word that I would like to. It's not feasible. It's not credible. She was bitten. She had doctor bills that amount to $5,000 plus loss of earnings. I don't know how the other judge, whoever it was, and I don't want the name of the judge, came to $3,500. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why reduce it $1,500 for what? I don't have his reasoning, but from my standpoint, being a trial de novo, it's very simple. Judgment for plaintiff for $5,000.
Some of her statements I couldn't even dignify with a reply.
I like to see the wounds to show that they have been hurt by a dog.
The cops are all liars, the police report are all lies, the doctor's reports are all false. Totally ridiculous.
Really sweet dog.
Big mean dog.
The Animal Court is now in session. The Honorable Joseph A. Wapner, Judge presiding.
I know you've all been sworn, and I have read your complaint. You sold a cockatoo to the defendant?
Yes, I did.
When was this?
It was back in September of '96.
And was there a written contract?
No, it was an oral contract.
For how much?
The oral contract was for the cage, which was $400, and the bird's
No.
worth was $1,000.
That's not correct, Your Honor.
That's not correct, Your Honor.
How much was
The
it?
verbal contract between me and her in her van was for $150 for the purchase of the cage. She told me she had 2 birds, one she needed to get rid of, and she said I may have it if I would like it as long as I had a cage to put it
And how
in.
much was the bird?
She told me I could have the bird. I
That-
wasn't paying for the bird.
That's not
That's
correct.
not true.
Did you pay her $150?
John, you were not there, so you
Wait,
have no sense.
wait. If you want to fight, I can get you boxing gloves, but we're not here for that.
No, I'm just saying, he wasn't in the car when the verbal agreement was made. It was just between me and her.
You weren't in the car?
No, I wasn't in the car,
Then
but
how
I
do you know
know
about it?
because I know the value of the bird and the value of the cage. We
Well,
would
that
not
doesn't-
give away a bird.
Maybe she was getting a bargain.
How he knows about it is because John and I delivered the cage to Robin
Who's
and John.
John?
I am.
This is John.
Oh,
We delivered the cage and bird. When the verbal agreement was made with Robin, between Robin and I, it was specifically asked that it be kept a secret so her husband did not know about
Yes,
it.
the $150. I gave you $100 in cash because
No.
it came out of my pocket
No,
right
you
there.
didn't.
Yes, I did, in the van, Lisa.
wait a minute. Did you get a receipt?
No, like I said, they were friends
I
enough that they
understand. I
trusted
just
me
asked
with
you
their
a simple
kids.
question. I'm not
That's
asking you to explain why you didn't. I'm asking you if you got a receipt.
No, I didn't, Your Honor.
Okay. What are these birds?
This is a cockatoo.
It's a cockatoo.
Yes.
It's not your cockatoo.
Well,
This
it's
is
the one that I bought
cockatoo
from them.
that's in dispute.
So you're saying you paid $100 for it?
$150 for the cage. The bird was 8 weeks old when I got him.
Well, what about the $100 you said you gave her
I
cash?
gave her cash in the car
Yeah.
when she dropped me off that afternoon, that
And?
morning, and I gave her $50 2 weeks later when I told her my husband gets paid every 2 weeks. I would bring her the other $50, and I did so.
That's not correct.
When did you buy the bird?
I bought the bird in August from a breeder friend of mine, which I have.
How much did you pay for it?
I paid $750 for the bird. That's why I don't
Do
understand
you
why.
have, wait a minute. Do you have something to
Yes, I
indicate?
do.
I didn't seek out to buy this bird. It was not my intention that day. You know,
Yes, it
I do
was.
have.
You
no,
asked.
No, I did
How
not.
long have you had it?
About 2 years, approximately.
What took you so long to, couldn't you find her?
No, that was not what happened. John and I moved away. And in that time we were away, we had no contact with people in California. But when we came back to California, I suggested that we get in contact with her husband.
And you'd been in California because we've seen you numerous
Other
times
people
over the
see
last
you.
Yes.
year.
Will you please wait until she's finished, and then when
Okay.
I ask you to speak, you
That's
may
fine.
speak.
Numerous times, yes, we have been in California. And one specific time, we saw her husband at AM PM. We asked him about the bird, and we also asked about payments. And John, her husband, just said, I don't know anything about it.
Is this your
So-
husband with
Yes,
you?
it is.
So when we came back permanently to live in California, we called him over. And I proceeded to tell him, look, this was done behind your back. So be it, it's done. If you want to keep the bird, please pay me, or please bring the bird back. We'll keep it until you pay it. You can have the bird back. Whatever you want to do, please work with us.
But you already received $150.
Excuse me, John.
Did you receive any money?
No, I did not. And
Yes,
then
you did.
the next day when I went to call them on the phone, they blocked our number from their home. And I have evidence stating what the value of the bird would be today, the hand feeding that was involved in it, everything, the DNA chip that's in that bird.
Of which numerous times you kept telling me, oh, as soon as I find the paperwork on that, I'm going to make sure you get it. I never once asked you for paperwork on that bird. As a matter of fact,
Well-
the day you guys took off and left, after we kept your kids, because we were friends for an entire week for you, you
What-
took off and left without any contact from anybody. You specifically went out of your way to tell us,
No,
as
John,
soon as
I
we
mean,
get it,
Robin,
we get.
we had seen John at AMP.
I know.
He avoided us.
And I saw
ran in
John
AMP.
the day when I went to go pick up my taxes walking by a pawn shop.
Yes,
You're
you
you're
did,
not
John.
helping me at all get to the truth of what happened.
No, I know, but
Well, if you know it, don't interrupt when she's speaking, and don't you interrupt her.
Okay.
Let me ask you, what else is in the cage besides the cockatoo that's on top of the cage?
there's 5 bowls in total. There's only 2 in here right now. The toys that he plays with, we bought it for him to play
And I
with.
have a receipt, what I paid for bowls, cage, and bird.
Let me see it. You've got 2 folders there. Is there anything else you want to show me?
No, this is just.
Like I said, they've been gone
there's
for
a
over
copy
a
of the
year, and
DNA.
the day they took off, we're going to call us. As soon as they got a place, get in contact with us with a phone number
we
and
didn't
address.
have a chance to.
No,
we
that's
had
because you had
personal
too many.
things
That's
going
right,
on.
too many financial problems that John's
The
mother had
financial
brought.
problems had nothing to do
Well,
with the
it was.
bird, Robin.
No, not with the bird.
Since
That's
you
why you're
ladies
gone.
haven't learned a thing since I've been on the bench here starting this case, you haven't learned one thing, and we're not going to continue this way because I won't do it. Sir, is there anything you want to add to this? I don't want to intimidate you. I mean, if you really have something to say, I want to listen to it. I just don't want to hear this crosstalk.
I just know that it was $150 given to her.
How do you know it? When you weren't there?
My wife told me that.
That's
That
hearsay.
Yeah.
Your Honor, not true. We called
What's
him.
not true? That she didn't tell?
What he just said. Because we called him, he came over to the house and we discussed the bird. And he said, well, yeah, he felt there was something up with it, that his wife made deals like that all the time behind his back.
No, I didn't.
That's what was said.
Did you ever say
Sorry,
that,
but
sir?
I sat there and heard
Pardon?
that.
No, sir.
How long have you been married?
10 years?
14
No, 14
years.
years, actually. 14 years.
You can't even agree on that.
That is what was said, Your Honor, because when he left the house, he said, you're not
Have
getting
you ever,
a dime.
have you ever talked to anyone in the bird business about what that cockatoo is worth?
No, I haven't, Your Honor.
Okay. Anyone else wants to tell me? We'll take a short recess. I'll come back, give you my decision.
Remain seated and come to order. This court is again in session.
This is a lawsuit based upon an alleged oral contract. Prefer a written contract because then we know it's concrete. Oral contract is just as valid, just as important, but it's harder to prove. This case is based primarily on what we call credibility. Who is telling the truth? By my decision, I'm not calling one side truthful and the other side liars, but someone has to make a decision as to whether or not there was a contract or there wasn't. If there was a contract, it was for $400 for the cage and $1,000 for the bird. I don't know how you came to $3,000, but you never mentioned it, so I have to come up with $1,400 or nothing. When we instruct juries, we tell juries that they have certain things that they can look to in determining credibility of witnesses and parties. One is the demeanor and the manner in which one testifies. The other is the character and quality of the testimony. A third is the extent and capacity of the witness to perceive, to recollect, or to communicate any matter about which that person testifies. There are several others too, but which I don't think are necessarily applicable in this case. Another thing that helps me determine is the fact that the plaintiff has offered evidence that she paid $750 for this cockatoo when it was just a scrawny little bird. Obviously is worth more money now than when she bought it originally. And it is a beautiful bird. I can see that. I don't own one myself, but I can appreciate beauty. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to give you a choice. I'm going to give you a choice of awarding the plaintiff a judgment for $1,400 against you, or giving her back the bird in the cage, if she's agreeable. So I'll ask you first, are you agreeable?
Can I say something about that first?
I want you to tell me yes or no.
See, I'm yes and no because I'm worried about something.
What are you worried about?
I'm worried about the health of the bird. I want to be able to hands-on touch that bird if Robin wants to give it up.
Well, what's your choice? And then we can see whether she wants to touch the bird.
Well, we would like to keep the bird. It's been part of our family for 2 years, and besides the fact, anybody can touch him. He is very friendly.
Well, there's no point in her touching him if you're...
Oh, I know. I'm just saying. He is...
All right. Judgment for plaintiff for $1,400.
He based his judgment on the value of the bird at the time of the contract, and the value of the bird is a lot more of today.
We thought they were going to call us and contact us, and they never did.
But it was a fair judgment. We didn't want them to lose their family pet either.